So this story comes from truthdig.com, and AOC 28 starts now. Forget failed party norms about campaign calendars. It's time to get to work. This is one of the most acerbically written.
Fucking so mean.
It is brutality, word for word. I just want to point out, like, there's just the straight up, the writing alone for this article is just like, damn, there's some fucking feelings.
Let me read one piece of it.
Yeah.
On that note, the fact that Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman thinks acquiring Greenland is a capital notion only reduces the likelihood that he'll appear on a dais wearing a cloak of Palestinian skins, face Braveheart painted in the Israeli flag colors, and ka-chunking a chair rightward to be closer to his ideological kinfolk.
Man. I mean, the writing is just like that the whole time.
It's
like,
the whole thing is fucking all gas, no brakes.
For real. Like, there is no confusion about where the author sits. The point of the article, though, is really that, like, there is an opportunity, right? Like, we've got two choices. Choice number one is for us to continue to allow the Democratic Party to drift center right, do nothing for the next 4 years, then install another center right candidate that's establishment and see what happens. Option number two, which is better, is to just embrace the real left, embrace the actual left, and start the real work. Specifically, AOC is a fucking great candidate here. Specifically, getting behind a left-wing, actual left-wing candidate and rallying and being left and celebrating the fact that we're left and not finding ourselves constantly drifting right. AOC can't really announce, the fucking 3 days after the inauguration, can't really announce that she's running in 28, but the Democratic Party and grassroots organizations, they can get behind a candidate like AOC. And she is such a potentially great possibility for that role. That's what the article puts forward.
Yeah. And I want to read this other piece too, which I thought was really interesting. And it's talking about Trump and talking about the way Trump does politics. Trump wound up at the center stage of each 2015 and 2016 debate because everyone was turning their heads to yell at him. He made himself the center of conversation because he asked for neither permission nor forgiveness. His instincts were right, even if everything else about him was wrong. Eventually, just the whole darn thing, because fuck you, that's why he does the damn thing. So you're just like, here's the thing, like, he's not wrong.
No.
Like, what he did was he made himself involved in every aspect of the media. Because that's what, when we read Trump's book, we pointed out that he had a plan to use the media all the time. And he always had that plan to use the media to his best benefit. And even back then, when someone else was ghostwriting a book for him, he fed that to those people. And he followed it. He followed it 100%. So fast forward to 2016, and here's a guy who is 100% trying to put himself in front of every camera, get in every single fight he can, make every single bit of salacious content that he can for mainstream media. And they ate it up.
Yep.
They ate that shit up. What you need is somebody to do that for us. You need somebody to do that for the people who are, on the left. Get somebody up there to do that and to be as brash and as brazen as he is. And I don't disagree. I think AOC is kind of a perfect person for that. If you listen to her talk, she talks like a normal person. She doesn't talk like somebody who's reading you talking points. She speaks like somebody who's speaking a regular language. They talk in here about how, if you're aiming for normal people, go for AOC. If you're aiming for people that are with postgraduate degrees, then maybe Hillary Clinton. And that's not wrong, man. There is definitely a total amount of change that went towards a bunch of college-educated people, and there's just not enough college-educated people to move the needle that far.
Yeah, I'm of two minds about this. Like, I understand the broad point that the author is making, and I tend to agree. And the thing is, like, AOC has been incredibly consistent in her messaging and her worldview. She understands how to use new media. She understands how to attack, and she attacks really well. But she also, from the day she became a candidate, she has been uniquely pilloried by the right and by a lot of people in the center as well, who see her as a threatening, attractive woman. And I'm just going to say, like, America has proven itself twice to be a deeply misogynist nation.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
And America uniquely hates attractive people. Attractive women specifically are denigrated in a way that is different and worse than other women as well. I wonder if we are not too far gone for the right thing.
I don't know that. I don't know.
And
the
I don't
answer
know
to
about that. I just worry about that, you know?
I don't know the answer to that. I think I think that there are a lot of reasons why people vote the way they vote. I think that people try to justify their vote after the fact by not saying they're misogynists, right? So they'll be saying like, oh, you know, they should have had a primary. That's why I didn't vote for her. Instead of, I just didn't feel comfortable with a woman running the country, right? Instead of being honest with themselves and with other people, you'll never, I guarantee if you did a poll tomorrow that said, do you think a woman should be able to be the president? That poll would be, I think, overwhelmingly, especially if you're talking to the person, not like a hidden, like secret ballot. Secret ballot might be very different. But if it's like a poll where you ask the person the question, I suspect that most people would say that they think a woman can run the country. And I would say a great majority would say it. I don't know that a great majority in their heart of hearts believe it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I think you hit on the problem, in my view, is that I think if you force people to say things out loud, they lie. But if you give them the opportunity to do exactly what you said, which is vote, which is a secret ballot. Like if you took that, that's the problem with voting. You go in and you'll walk in the door, and then you walk in, you're like, fuck no. And I will say too, that I did read some articles that in certain communities, some people in certain communities were fairly upfront about saying like, I'm not voting for a woman. Yeah.
They were vocal. Yeah. So I do know that too, that there was some vocalness. And most people, that was not most people.
No, it was not. But like, I do think that there's something unique about attractive women that America loves to hate. And I worry about somebody like AOC in particular, because I think it tunes a lot of dudes up. I think it tunes a lot of right-wing dudes up, that they're like, an attractive woman in charge of me? You know, I just think we're trash.
I don't disagree. I think we are trash. I think we're trash for a lot of different reasons. Misogyny is one of them.
Yeah.
But I want to point out too, like, maybe it's not AOC. And I don't know that I want to 100% say it's only AOC could be the person. I want somebody who can talk to people. I want somebody who could talk to people at a level that is not, like a level that is not a college level. I want someone who can talk to everyone, who has a rapport with everyone. And I'm not saying AOC is unique in this aspect, but she doesn't talk in a way that is unattainable for everybody, right? She talks in a way that is approachable to a lot of people. So just find somebody like that. I don't care who it is, right? Find somebody like that. And then the last piece I want to talk about this is the money. So there's this big thing about money where a lot of people are like, well, who's going to do this? Who's going to pay for it? And I want to read this because it's fucking great. It says, how this gets funded is a problem only for people looking for a way to justify hearing no before trying. There's money everywhere in the system because that's the only thing that anyone's bothered putting into it for nearly 45 years.
It's a great line.
That's a great fucking line, and it's 100% true. Whenever you want to hear somebody start it, that's like, where's the money coming? Like, that's a great way to say no before you even fucking hear the idea. And so this is exactly the same thing. There's plenty of money out there for somebody to push now. And I think the way forward is to get on some of these right-wing shows. My thought is Buttigieg does a tour on Rogan and Lex Friedman and all these right-wing podcasts and fucking eats them alive. Eats them alive in their own fucking environment. Because let me tell you,
that guy would.
There is no way Joe Rogan wins a debate against Pete Buttigieg. No fucking way that happens.
No, I think Buttigieg is an incredibly electable candidate because although he is brilliant, when he speaks, I don't think it feels like a fucking law professor talking to you.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Like it's funny to me how much I'm thinking as we're talking, and like, it's funny how much the idea of what is presidential has shifted down, right? So at different times in my life and different times in history, I feel like the idea of who should be president, and maybe this is inaccurate, but maybe this is just me, like who should be president should be the guy that's smarter than me.
Sure, I agree.
Like who should be president is not the everyman, not the like Joe common sense. Like I don't want that guy. I am that guy. I don't deserve that job. I'd be bad at it. I shouldn't do that work. And when I see somebody who's like me, I'm like, you shouldn't do that work either. But America has decided something different. America has clearly said that what they want is they want somebody who feels authentic. And what they really mean by authentic is as dumb as they are.
Non-threatening.
You know? And that's fucked up. Obama was in my view, Obama felt presidential to me.
He also felt erudite. He felt like someone who was not trying to pull punches. You listen to his speeches now, even, and they feel like somebody who is very much a trained orator, somebody who is definitely not speaking at a lower level just so people can follow them. He is, I think, but I think he was a direct result of 8 years of Bush and let's have a beer together.
Yeah.
And I think
he was
too. I think it was a direct result of that opposite effect of that. What is this? I don't know what the opposite of Trump is.
Yeah. And I don't even know that we're going to swing. I think like what this article's point is to some degree is like, maybe we need to stop swinging to the opposite and embrace what works. Like, what is America responsive to?
That's what I think they're saying.
Yeah.